how can you detect anomalies in financial activities in the sequence of payments of transactions. So anomalies in transaction, it's really the classic way to detect fraud. And I think if we look at legacy solutions, what used to be on the market 10, 15 years ago. So probably 15 years ago, you wouldn't be able to profile a user. You won't be able to understand how your user behaves in certain situations. Then came, let's say 10 years ago, came out solutions that were able to allow you to create some types of profiling. So you were able to take, let's say, certain payment methods or certain MCC codes or certain activities and profile those for the specific user and then write rules based on the profile user. What we're doing today with Unit21 is basically we allow you to run rules with pretty much any look-back period on your historical data that you want to do. And by doing that, you no longer need to manually create those user profiles because we already have your historical data. And the way our rules work, our rule engine work, is that it knows how to go back and look at the activity, the specific activity that you try to detect, and understand how this user been interacting so far. So for example, if you try to flash out maybe, let's say, a customer who suddenly starts deposit way too much cash, injecting cash into the system, it's very easy to use Unit21 to understand how historically he was doing that. And Connor can demo us this type of rule and how we create it. Connor.
Absolutely. So I've pulled up an example of a historical deviation model that's a standard rule in Unit21 that you can configure, where we're going to look at any entity who's made more than, let's say, 3 transactions where the sum in dollar terms is greater than $500 in the last week, and it differs either by a pure number, a dollar value, a percentage, or even a standard deviation. Or we could say, we want to look at any user who has made 3 transactions of at least $500, and those transactions differ by 2 standard deviations compared with the amount of transactions over the past 30 days. And we can add additional filtering. So like Alex was saying, we could add that we only care about cash transactions, for example, when we're writing this rule. We can use any of the data that you're providing us to look at very, very specific types of transactions. And we also have another historical deviation model, grab the right one, where we could just do something relatively simple and say, hey, we want to look at any entity where the deviation of transactions in the last 3 days compared to the last 14, has a sum that is, maybe 150% larger than the previous 14 days. So really easy to write these types of rules that look for patterns of behavior that are unusual for that individual user.
Yeah, absolutely. And another trick that I personally like to use, and actually one of my favorite scenarios models in Unit21, is top transacting entities. So I like to set up deviation rules, but I also like always to take the same payment type or take the same payment channel, whatever I'm trying to track, and always look in the same look back period for the top transacting entities. So who are the 10, 15 users who've done it the most, I'm sorry. It could be either like Connor just demoed, it could be in cash transaction, money comes in, money comes out. Who are the top interacting users, top transacting users? I think it's a great way also to kind of understand what's the normal behavior for your users. So if you see like even the top 10 still look normal to you on any given date, let's say you did a 1 week look back period, or maybe did a 1 month look back period, it's a great way for you as a fraud prevention person to understand how your users interacting with that specific channel or method of payment.